A good marriage isn't something you find, it is something that you make. God wants you to grow together and not apart in your marital relationship. Hello, friends, this is Stella Sanobokelo, welcoming you to the Family Enrichment Hub. And I have the honor to be speaking about another behavior today that can potentially destroy your marital relationship, and that is comparing your spouse to other people. I have a dear friend whom I occasionally share with matters of life and family, business and career. And every time that I discuss with this lady different issues affecting our lives as ladies, what clearly comes out of her is comparing her husband to other people's husbands. She always has a tone of, other women are so lucky to have married the men that they married. She always looks at the good in others and rarely has time to pause and reflect and just be grateful for what she has in her husband. And I want to share on that note the implications of playing out the game of comparing your husband, your wife to other people, because comparison is a deadly cancer that can actually destroy you and can destroy your partner and eventually destroy your marital relationship. And the first one is that comparing your spouse to others, it creates a sense of discontentment within your relationship. It creates discontentment on the part of the person who is comparing and even the person who is being compared. You will not be fulfilled in that relationship where you're always comparing one another to the spouses of others. You'll find yourself in a place where you're asking, did I really pick the right partner? And that is not healthy for your relationship. Where there is discontentment, disrespect will play out, because disrespect speaks to, you feel a sense of something is missing within your spouse. You do not give them the love and the honor. You don't cherish them in the way that they truly deserve as a partner. So when you compare them to others, literally you're saying, I am not satisfied with what I have in my partner. And so where issues of disrespect play out, you're also going to bring in envy. You're going to be envious of one another. You're going to be envious of other couples who are apparently living out their lives blissfully. You'll always be looking at what others are having, which you do not have. And trust me, in a marital relationship where there is envy, it is dangerous. Slowly but surely, you'll destroy one another and you'll destroy your relationship together. That will also bring in issues of unending, unhealthy competition, because you're basing your standards on what you're seeing in other couples. And so you'll find yourself each and every other time playing out, we are missing this and that. I am seeing this happening in other relationships. Why is it not happening in our own? And so you play the blame game. You play the game of comparing your partner as the cause of the lack of happiness within your own relationship. Comparison creates unhealthy competition, and in the long run, you're going to cause a lot of misery within your own relationship, because when you're always comparing your spouse to other people, you'll be miserable as a couple. You'll never find anything to appreciate and thank God for. And so you will not have fulfillment. You will not have a blessed life in your relationship, because you're just playing out misery together. And picture with me a man who is always being compared to other men. You'll destroy the masculinity of that man. You'll destroy the ego of that man. You'll destroy his sense of purpose. You'll destroy his sense of fulfillment. You'll destroy his sense of authority within the home. You do not want to play marriage with a man whose ego has been destroyed. You'll have destroyed him, you'll have destroyed yourself, and you'll have eventually destroyed your own marital relationship. Allow me share a few insights just to help us appreciate the next time when you want to compare your spouse to another person outside. And the first thing we need to know is that your marriage is only as healthy as the individuals who are within the marriage. When you're comparing your spouse to other people, just know that you're doing this because of an unhealthy state of mind within you, an unhealthy spiritual, mental, and psychological being within you. So you're only playing out what is within you. So by comparing your spouse to others, you're actually saying within you there is a void, there is an inadequacy, there is a lack. And so by comparing your spouse to others, you're openly showing that indeed you yourself, you're not mentally, you're not psychologically, and you're not spiritually balanced. Another thing you need to know is that as a couple, as a marital union, you're in this journey together. This journey is unique to you. So do not even begin to compare it to others. There are no two marriages which are the same. Every marriage is uniquely different from every other. And so don't begin to compare your spouse to another spouse, because the other marriage is a totally different affair from your own. Also, what we need to appreciate, even while we are looking at how others are playing out their marriages, do not copy and paste everything that you're seeing in other marriages. Copy only what is relevant, what is important, what is going to build you, what is going to make the two of you better together. Another thing we need to appreciate is that marriage is not a competition. You're not competing with anybody. I recently heard of a couple who planned to get married. They were planning to do their introduction ceremony, and the lady put a lot of pressure on the man and told him, in our village, marriage is a competition, and so this is my year. I have to win. I have to win this year. Whom are you competing with? What are you competing for? To win in what? Who is the judge? Who is measuring? Who is the referee of our different marriages? So appreciate that marriage is not a competition. Marriage is a game that is played by two people to bring fulfillment and satisfaction in their own journey. Your visions, your goals, and your circumstances are also totally different from those of another couple. And so when you begin to compare your spouse to other people, you have forgotten that you are totally on different paths. The other couple has different visions from yours. They have totally different goals from yours. They are in very different circumstances from yours. So what is there to compare your spouse with? The other person. Another thing we need to appreciate, the Bible teaches us that you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, your neighbor's spouse. When you covet, coveting is simply saying, I want what the other person has. I want what the other people have. And so coveting puts you in a place where you're looking forward to having what other people have. And you forget that what other people are enjoying is a result of work that they have put in, that they have built within their relationship. So why don't you build your own relationship and come to a place where you're able to enjoy the fruits and the benefits of the work that you have put into your spouse? And also, it's just not fair to compare your spouse's weaknesses with the strengths of others, because you don't know what the weaknesses of the other people are. So for you to compare the weaknesses, the flaws you see in your spouse with the apparent strengths of others, it is just so immature and honestly very, very short-sighted. Comparison is judging from the outside minus the inner details within the other people. Like they say, do not judge a book by its cover, because you don't know what details are inside of the book. So don't judge your spouse basing on their flaws, and you forget that even the people you are comparing your partner to are also having their own flaws. And then finally, on the insides, you picked your spouse by yourself. Nobody forced you to marry the person that you married. So if you're failing to find fulfillment and joy and satisfaction in this person that you lovingly selected, what guarantee is there that if you had selected another person, you would actually be happy? You would probably play out the same game of comparison even to the one that you would have selected, because comparison speaks to you as a person. It's not about others. It is a void within you, the person that does the comparison. Friends, as a word of advice and counsel, I want to share that there are no angels in marriage. There are no angels on the earth. Life is a full package of strengths and flaws. Everybody has them. And so if you appreciate that you have both strengths and flaws, you'll celebrate the beauty that is within your spouse. You will not focus too much on their flaws. And you'll also use God's standard as the measurement for your marriage, not other people. God's standard is perfect. God's standard is reliable. God's standard makes you better together. It grows you and brings out the best in you. But the standards of human beings, they are changing, they are fleeting, they are not reliable. So build your marriage on the standard of God. Also adopt an attitude of gratitude. Learn to appreciate the good that you see in your spouse, however little it is. It is something that helps me in my own marriage. My husband has so many flaws, and so do I. Very many glaring flaws. But I choose to focus on the little things, on the beautiful things that I see in him. And when I focus on those, it gives me a sense of peace, a sense of joy, and a sense of fulfillment, which reflects within our marriage. I also want to encourage us to leave room for inspiration and guidance from the couples that we love and admire, because they are all over us. But while you're picking lessons and guidance and inspiration from them, do not turn it into comparison. Just because you've learned something from another couple does not mean that now you should put your spouse on the spotlight and say, I want you to be like the others. No. Pick lessons without bringing your spouse down by comparing them to others. Celebrate your uniqueness as a couple. Remember, like I said, your marriage is like no others. It is unique to the two of you. And so play it out as uniquely different. It can never be like any other. The Bible tells us the story of the talents. When you receive a talent, you must grow it. You must nurture it. You should take care of it so that it brings in more returns, beautiful returns for you. That is what our marriages are like, friends. When you select a spouse, invest in them, put time in them, bring out the best in them, so that at the end of the day, the Lord will surely say, well done, good and faithful servant. And finally, communicate together as a couple. Where there are unmet needs, where there are challenges, where there are unmet expectations, talk about them together. And in that way, you'll find healthy ways of improving your relationship without destroying one another with the vice of comparison. I want to conclude with a write-up by a family coach, Elvis Agiamang. And he says, don't desire your marriage to be like for another couple. Build your own, which you will love and admire together with your spouse. Thank you, friends, for listening in. I encourage us to share widely, and I believe this is how we shall transform our society through the family. God bless you. Catch you next week. Bye.